Today we have designated as terrorist organizations two groups that operate here in Ecuadorian territory. One is Los Lobos, and the other is Los Choneros. We can now go after them, and it's proven quite effective, for example, against the gangs in Haiti and in other parts of the world.
So that's another major headline that targets new terror designations announced against two gangs operating in the country of Ecuador. This after President Trump and the Pentagon painted a target on Venezuelan drug cartels, warning they've just gotten started in the war on narco-terrorism. What a story this become in just a few days' time. Rebecca Grant's here, national security and military analyst. And Rebecca, good afternoon to you. We call on you for your knowledge of all these international relations here. Where did this come from all of a sudden? When you've got Venezuela on one side of the northeastern side of South America, Ecuador on the other. Where did it come from, and where do you see it going?
Right, and don't forget Guyana in there with elections. So this comes from Secretary Rubio and President Trump saying it's going to be America first in the Western Hemisphere. So Tren de Agua and others have been designated as foreign terrorist organizations. Some have also been designated as an invading force. And that means that that drug boat you saw on the film released by the Pentagon, it's no different than hitting a Houthi target in Yemen or an ISIS target in the Middle East. You're looking at an infrared sensor, an aircraft, a missile, taking out a terrorist target. And I think we're going to see more of this activity.
Okay, let me come back to Marco Rubio in a moment. Here is the Vice President, J.D. Vance, getting a question about the legality. Watch here.
What legal authority were you guys working under, and will there be an after report on the strike?
Well, I'm sure there's going to be an after report. I mean, the legal authority, and I want to talk about these kids, is that there are people who are bringing literal terrorists who are bringing deadly drugs into our country, and the President of the United States ran on a promise of stopping this poison from coming into our country.
If you want to go and jump on the legal aspect of that, go ahead, Rebecca. Then I'll follow up with a question about Rubio.
Well, right, it's absolutely correct. And so the executive orders have laid it out very clearly. Remember, these gangs are bringing in migrants, they're bringing in drug trafficking, and we basically said, hey, these guys are a threat, they are terrorist organizations. And the legality of targeting, Bill, as you know, every target goes through a collateral damage estimate. They made sure, obviously, it's out in the middle of the water. There was no chance of something being done. And it's the military. They always abide by the laws of war.
Okay, here's what struck me. We just played a clip of Marco Rubio in Ecuador. Before that, he was in Mexico City. And while he was there, he was asked about this and about when it would happen again. And he said, maybe it's happening right now. I don't know. But the point is the President of the United States is going to wage this war on narco-terrorist organizations. That leads us back to this question about where it goes from here and whether or not it goes to other countries. By the way, here's the numbers from Venezuela on drug trafficking, the estimated income. Cocaine profits $8 billion, marijuana profits $50 million. So, to you, what is next?
That's crazy. And I think Rubio is telling us that there's been additional authorization. If you have a target that's got the bad guys aboard doing something wrong, then I think our military now has more authorization to hit those targets within those very specific guidelines. And hey, I think Mexico should take note of this as well, because if there are going to be cartels and gangs operating out of there, then potentially that becomes an issue. Big picture, the idea here is deterrence. And that clip of that boat being blown up, I got to tell you, we have a dozen different ways to do that with the combinations of missiles, aircraft, and sensors. A really deep bench and the ability to go after this. And I'm glad Rubio is making this hemisphere safer.
Rebecca, that happened when all those leaders were meeting in Beijing, China. Is that a coincidence?
I love it. It may be, but I love that coincidence. And it really does show that the U.S. has incredible precision capability. And it's a warning to China. Look, Rubio got China backed out of some of the arrangements in Panama. And China has a lot of fishing vessels over here. They're trying to do a lot with Belt and Road in South America. China will have taken note of what the U.S. military can do under U.S. Southern Command.
Interesting developments here. Rebecca Grant, great to get your input on that. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.